Good morning, everyone. I'm going to start with some giving voice to the Spirit, so feel free to join in. Give your voice to the Spirit. The first song is an invitation to come sing a song with me. So it goes, come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come walk in rain with me. Come walk in rain with me. Come walk in rain with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. The next song that I'll invite you all to sing with me is Gathered Here, and we'll do it 3 times. And this is a really fun one to do in a round if you feel comfortable with the melody. And so I'll give one of these gestures for when a good spot to enter it in a round might be. So the first time it goes, gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power, Spirit, draw near. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power, Spirit, And the last one that I'll invite you all to sing along is Spirit of Life, and we'll do this one twice. Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me. Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
Good morning. Welcome to White Bear Unitarian Universalist Church, a community of youth, adults, and children bound not by creed, but by covenant, living into the values of courage, reverence, and compassion. I am Nicolay Lyon, and I use she, her pronouns. We offer a special welcome to newcomers. We invite you to fill out a guest card at the Welcome Center, or you can find the link in the chat box. We also invite you to join us at Social Hour for a time of connection and community. If you have a prayer request today, please place it in the prayer bowl or in the chat box before the opening hymn. Our building will be closed on Tuesday, May 10th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. for a staff retreat. Staff will not be available during that time. We deeply appreciate your consideration and understanding as we gather to hold space together. Our Relational Covenant team is hosting one final session for collecting your feedback tomorrow evening on Zoom. For more details, contact Reverend Sarah. Also, we want your input about the search process for our next settled lead minister. If you haven't filled out the survey yet, please do so by the end of the day on Monday. We really want to hear from everyone about this important process. With joy and celebration, and in case you missed it in the e-news, we honor Reverend Sarah and Reverend Jack, who were informed this week that they have been awarded full fellowship by the Unitarian Universalist Association's Ministerial Fellowship. This is the culmination of several years of continued professional development and annual evaluations. We will celebrate their accomplishment with the return of cookies, or maybe even cake, during social hour on June 5th. Congratulations to both of them. Welcome to our church. Together we grow our souls and serve the world.
Come into this place which we make holy by our presence. Come in with all your vulnerabilities and strengths, fears and anxieties, loves and hopes. For here you need not hide, nor pretend, nor be anything other than who you are and who you are called to be. Come into this place where we can touch and be touched, heal and be healed, forgive and be forgiven. Come into this place where the ordinary is sanctified, the human is celebrated, the compassionate is expected. Come into this place. Together we make it a holy place. I'm Reverend Jack, and I use he, him pronouns, and Teal Bassett will lead us in our chalice lighting.
After watching someone dear to me experience a stillborn loss and then the devastating prognosis of not being able to carry their own children, I offered to become her gestational carrier, which is a surrogate with no genetic connection to the embryo. It was a beautiful, challenging, and exciting journey. I was poked and prodded, learning along the way about hormone cycles, what the ideal uterine lining should look like. Mine was ideal. Months of medications and appointment schedules, and most importantly, what defines a mother. With a lot of help from the many doctors and family and friends that supported me, I was able to mother this baby into the world to help build a family. And the two babies, the ones that call me mom, well, I still need a lot of help from doctors and family and friends to help support me be a good mother to them. I need help from the pediatrician to know the best treatments for that persistent cough. I need advice from the auntie who loves to foster my child's interests. I need the companionship of a sweet friend who always answers the phone. I even ask around for recipe recommendations because my kid seems to only eat butter noodles and Chex Mix. You get the idea. And this help I receive, I believe, isn't much different than the help I gave the person whose body couldn't carry a baby. Bringing life into this world and then nurturing that life is how motherhood is loosely and broadly defined in our culture. I nurtured a life inside me, lovingly, and passed that life on to a waiting woman who is now nurturing that little miracle, because she is her mother. Because you see, the mothers can't be easily defined. Mothers are the people in our lives that love us, adore us, take care of us, protect and nurture us. That is the essence of mothering. Getting pregnant and giving birth was something that came easy to me. I didn't struggle with fertility, and my body tolerated pregnancy well. Being a gestational carrier was something that I could do as a person whose body has an ideal uterine lining to bring life into this world. I was a piece to the puzzle of mothering. In my mind, there is no real definition to what makes a mom. A mom is love. A mom loves you. Let us light this chalice to remind ourselves to practice mothering every day, to love and nurture those around you and yourself, to relish in the miracle and beauty of the undefinable mother.
I'm Reverend Sarah Goodman, she, her pronouns. Join me in our opening words. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. I invite you to join in our hymn, Let All Beauty We Have Known. It's number 326 in the hardback hymnal. Please rise in body or spirit to sing along.
Good morning. My name is Amy, and my pronouns are she, her. And this morning's story is called The Real Gift, and it comes from A Wonderful Welcome, which is a part of the Tapestry of Faith series from the UUA. It's written by Aisha Hauser and Susan Lawrence. Nelson was worried. He had been worried about something all week, and this very afternoon, it was going to happen. During cleanup at church, he decided to talk to his teacher, Lila. "Nelson, is everything okay?" she asked. "Well, not really. My Nana Elsa is moving in with me and my dad's today. Our house will be too crowded," Nelson said. "And now I will have 3 grown-ups telling me what to do. My grandmother and my dad's." Lila took a minute to think. Then she said, "You know, it may take time to get used to her living with you, but I think it's important that you welcome Nana Elsa, even though you're a little worried." "Welcome her? Why? She's already a part of our family," Nelson said. "Nana Elsa may be worried today too, said Lila. She's moving into a home where 3 people already live. She might be worried that you and your dads don't really want her there. It will be important to let her know that you do love her. Nelson sighed. But the more he thought about it, the more he knew that Lila was probably right. Nana Elsa might be feeling worried today too. So when he got home, Nelson made a card for his grandmother. He drew himself, his dad's, and Nana Elsa standing in front of their apartment building. He wrote, "Welcome, Nana. I love you. Love, Nelson." He brought the card into the extra bedroom where his grandmother was putting her clothes into the dresser drawers. "Hi, Nana. I want to give you something," he said. "Oh, thank you very much," she said. "I love this card, and I wanted to give you something too, but then I thought it might be more fun if we could make it together." "Make what?" asked Nelson. "May I teach you to crochet? It's easy. We could make a small blanket together, and you could put it on your legs while you're watching TV," Nana Elsa said. "Can I pick the color? I really like green," Nelson said. The next day, Nelson and his grandmother walked to the craft store and bought green yarn and crochet needles, and for 2 weeks, almost every day, Nelson sat with Nana Elsa after school talking and crocheting. When the blanket was finished, Nelson took it to church to show Lila. "Wow, you made that with your grandmother?" Lila said. "That sounds like fun, and it looks so warm." Nelson loved that blanket. He took it everywhere with him. But one day, he wanted to take it to bed with him, and he couldn't find it. Soon the whole family was looking for it, but the green crocheted blanket was gone. At bedtime, Nelson was still very upset. Nana Elsa sat on his bed and held his hand. "Nelson, I hate to see you so sad," she said. "But Nana, we made that blanket together and I loved it so much, and now it's gone," he cried. "I know you feel bad, but you know, Nelson, the most important gift was not the blanket," said his grandmother. "It was the time we spent making it. You made me so happy when you welcomed me into your home. I wanted to spend special time with you making something, and we did. The real gift was the time we spent being together. We will always treasure that time and our love for each other and our family." Nelson looked up at Nana Elsa. He rubbed the tears away from his face, and he realized that his Nana was right. The time they spent together was the real gift, and he realized he was glad now that his grandmother lived with him and his dad's. "I love you very much, Nana," he said. "I love you too, Nelson," she said. I invite you now to rise in body or spirit. We're going to sing "Go Lift It Up" to our children, youth, and facilitators on their way to their RE circles this morning.
Guide your journey.
Join me in the spirit of meditation or prayer. We are a community of broken and healing hearts. We're about 55 people, or we were when there were children with us, in this room, and about 45 households on Zoom. We come together this complicated day, this complicated way, and we hold each other. We hold each of us. We also hold in our hearts everyone who is parenting right now, especially today. I created this prayer for parenting in a pandemic for the third Mother's Day in a row. This is a prayer for parents of children. This is a prayer for parents of babies, of teens, of young adults. This is a prayer, not a sending thoughts and prayers kind of prayer, but a please, someone help us prayer. It's been 2 years since the world shut down. It's been 1 year since people started to act as if things were normal. It's been 9 months since we were promised that our children would be protected. It'll come anytime now. We are waiting. This is a prayer not to be forgotten. We have held our babies in our arms while they look around, astounded that there are more than 5 people in the world having spent the first year of their lives at home. We have held our young school children in our laps while they try to learn writing and etiquette and how to make friends through a computer screen. We have held our preteens as they struggle to make sense of themselves and the world when they aren't seeing each other, not able to play and talk and laugh as they need to. We have held our teens through more disappointed expectations than they ever deserve to have experienced in so few years. We have sent our young people off into the world, not knowing what will be there for them when they get there. We have held our beloved children when they were sick, when they gave in to the loneliness, when they lost their way. We have done this while trying to do our jobs, or leaving our jobs because it was too much to do all of it, or losing our jobs and struggling with how do we care for our families now. And we have done all of that while having to make impossible decisions like, do I send my unvaccinated child to school with other unvaccinated children who won't be able to wear a mask properly all day and risk exposing our high-risk grandparents to a deadly virus? Or do I keep my child home where they will not get to play with other children for another year, where I will be constantly fighting with them about what work needs to be done and what food they don't want to eat, and doing my work in the hours that they're sleeping? We've tried everything. We have tried to parent alone. We have tried to pod with other families. We have tried to send them to school. We have tried to hire nannies. We have tried to do homeschooling. We have tried to do outschooling. We have tried to do nature schooling. We have tried everything. And we have repeatedly wept when things we tried don't work, when guidelines made to keep our children safe have been rolled back one by one. We have been sick more times this year than in the last 5, all of us in our families. We have had our resolve tested, our marriages strained, our relationships with our children torn to pieces. We have tried to be present to our children when they are angry, when they are weary, when they are despondent. And who has been here for us when we are angry weary, despondent. We have watched our children suffer while we suffer, and there is no respite. This is a prayer to show you, oh, beloved parent, that I see you. I know your heart is broken. I know you are just trying to hold it together until things get better. This is a prayer, oh, beloved Spirit of life, that things get better soon. Please, sometime soon, my heart, because it has been 787 days, and there is no end in sight. For today, I offer parents this prayer. May your weariness ease. May your children grow strong and happy. May you find ways to feel like yourself from time to time. May you find healthy and sustainable ways to process this trauma and grief. And may you know that you are loved. Amen. We also hold in our community the names of beloveds who need our care. We hold the Signoris family as they live with Thanasi's Alzheimer's. We hold, Chris and Doug, who have lost both their 20-plus-year-old sons since January. May this Mother's Day be blessed for Chris. And we honor all moms, bonus moms, and mom figures in our lives. And now I invite you to speak the names of your beloveds into this silence so we can hold them all together. We hold them all in love. Amen.
Twice a month, our offering goes out to local nonprofit organizations in this community. But this morning, the offering stays right here in this community to support the programs and life of this congregation. The baskets will be passed this morning, and you can also give in several other ways. You can contribute online, you can send a check or leave one in the locked box outside the front office, or you can follow the text to give prompts on your screen. However you give, thank you for your generosity and your faith in this life we live together.
Our first reading is from Maria Popova. It strikes me that one measure of maturity might be attaining an awareness that there can be no genuine devotion to fighting the forces that unworld the world without genuine devotion to the littlest manifestations of beauty that make this planet a world and this existence a life. The second reading is from the October 2nd entry of Ross Gay's journal entitled Book of Delights. Among the most beautiful things that I've ever heard anyone say came from my student Bethany, talking about how she wanted to be a teacher and what she wanted her classroom to be. She said, "What if we joined our wildernesses together?" Sit with that for a minute. That the body, the life might carry a wilderness, an unexplored territory, and that yours and mine might somewhere, somehow meet, might even join. What if the wilderness, perhaps the densest wild in there, thickets, bogs, swamps, uncrossable ravines, and rivers, have I made the metaphor clear? What if that wilderness is our sorrow? Or to use Zadie Smith's term, the intolerable. It astonishes me sometimes, no, often, how every person I get to know, every person, regardless of everything, by which I mean everything, lives with some profound personal sorrow. Brother addicted, mother murdered, dad died in surgery, rejected by their family, cancer came back, evicted, fetus not okay. Everyone, regardless, always of everything, not to mention the existential sorrow we all might be afflicted with, which is that we and everyone we love will soon be annihilated, which sounds more dramatic than it might seem. Let me just say dead. Is this sorrow the great wilderness? Is sorrow the true wild? And if it is, and if we join them, your wild to mine, what's that? For joining two is a kind of annihilation. What if we joined our sorrows? I'm saying, what if that is joy?
Good morning. Feel free to sing along if you know all of the song or parts of the song. Yesterday a child came out to wander, caught a dragonfly inside a jar. Fearful when the sky was full of thunder,
Preaching on Mother's Day can be hard. It is just such a complicated holiday. For one thing, not everyone has a mother, like in Amy's story where Nelson has 2 dads and a nana living with him. For another thing, not everyone with a mother has a rosy and uncomplicated relationship with that mother. Also, not everyone who wants to be a mother can be one, and not every pregnancy ends in a happy and healthy birth. As Teal shared with us, not everyone has a uterine lining that takes to pregnancy well. And as we know, not everyone that gets pregnant wants to have or raise a child. And then came this week's news. I thought I might have to scrap the initial idea for this sermon. How can one preach on the beauty of different forms of mothering and parenting and nurture that transcend gender when the rights of people with a uterus are under attack? But then I found that Maria Popova quote that Sarah just read. She says, "There can be no genuine devotion to fighting the forces that unworld the world without genuine devotion to the littlest manifestations of beauty that make this planet a world and this existence a life." In other words, all of us need bread, but we also need roses. Conservationist writer Terry Tempest Williams puts an even finer point on it when she says, "Beauty is not optional. It's a strategy for survival." With all these profound words from people wiser than I am, I decided that a sermon on beauty and presence might be exactly what we need right now. Here at church yesterday, the Land Stewardship Committee had a work day where they cared for this land and the flowers and the trees, the web of existence that butts up against this building, our plant neighbors. Yesterday, I was enjoying the sunshine and some pickleball with my chosen family. This world of sunshine and of joy and beauty and flowers coincides with and bumps up against the world of our sadness and anger about this week's news. They aren't separate worlds, though. They are one and the same. They are both part of our world. As much as I love movies that explore the idea of many possible multiverses, for now we only have one universe that we know of, and it's full of beauty and suffering, joy and loss, anger and love, injustices and passion. I'm glad to live in a world where we get angry about injustices and can channel that anger into activism. My first protest and political activism actually took place outside an abortion clinic. There were people on both sides of the issue with opposing signs and warring chants. Both sides believed they were in the right. They both had righteous indignation about a perceived wrong. Both sides believed they were protecting or advocating for ones whose rights had been denied. I wish I could tell you that I learned a lot that day, but I'm not sure I actually did. I was probably about 10 or 11 years old, and I was with my mom on the side of the pro-lifers. She was passionate about her position, and I was still too young to have a position of my own. I hadn't yet developed a nuanced position about the divisive topic of abortion. A lot has changed since then, and I often wonder, how did I go from being pro-life to pro-choice? It didn't happen overnight, but I've narrowed it down to a few primary contributing factors. My politics changed, my theology changed, and I spent more time listening to and learning from people whose identities and stories were different from mine. My politics changed as I was leaving the world of conservative Christianity with its strict adherence to the agenda of the religious right, the moral majority, as they called themselves. On my college campus, to my knowledge, there were only 3 out Democrat students. and they would get hate notes left on their windshield because of their bumper stickers. These folks were my friends, and even though we didn't agree on politics at the time, I hated the way that they were treated. Talking with them started my movement toward a shift in thinking. But the change couldn't get as fully underway until my own theology began to change. I had only ever viewed God in very simple terms. Not quite the bearded man in the sky, but not too far off from that either. In my journey through various theologies, I encountered process theology, an understanding of God as a being who constantly learns and grows just like humans, unlike the stoic and immovable God of my previous understanding. I also encountered feminist theologies, where God was described as a mother, a nurturer, and a creator. This theology was what informed Bobby McFerrin when he adapted the 23rd Psalm to music and used the feminine pronouns for God. As simple as this shift was, it was profound for me. I also encountered a deep strand of Jewish theology called Holocaust theology, or death of God theology, from Richard Rubinstein. He advocated for a view of God as our ground of being, the place from which we came and the place to which we return. For him, God was a divine cannibal mother who birthed us and then swallowed us up again. The dark abyss from which we come is the same dark abyss to which we return. Happy Mother's Day, right? When we say that we are born to earth and to dust we will return, that is what we're saying. We come from Mother Earth, and we will be integrated with her again upon our death. For some, this dark abyss is terrifying, but for others, the darkness is a mystery that is both comforting and peaceful. At this point, I was well on my way to a whole new way of thinking. I grew up in a family of 3 boys, and my understanding of gender lacked nuance. It was also somewhat flatly shaped by the conservative church in which I was raised, and the one which I chose for myself. In both churches, women weren't allowed to preach. They were instructed to submit to their husbands. It didn't come as much of a shock when those same churches wanted to exert authority over the bodies of pregnant people. This belief does, however, surprise me now, and it offends me too. I couldn't be happier to be part of a faith movement that honors the autonomy and inherent worth of all people, regardless of pregnancy status, gender identity, or gender expression. We are a church community that seeks to advocate for people on the margins, and a new group of people might be on the margins of society soon if this Supreme Court decision is finalized in its current form. Fortunately, we are not powerless. It is said of many Unitarian Universalists that we are a gentle, angry people. We actually have a hymn about it. We get creative, and we are willing to actively resist oppression and discrimination, especially when it comes from our government. Just a few years ago, this congregation decided to provide sanctuary to a refugee family seeking asylum, even though ICE and others were constantly threatening to intervene and deport. I have no doubt that this congregation will rise up when needed to answer the call of love when our neighbors need us. And I mean literal neighbors. The states around us have regressive and strict laws that severely restrict or even outright ban abortion. And many of our neighbors might come here in their hour of need. Will you answer their call? In times of crisis, I think of the words of Mr. Rogers. Look for the helpers. We don't know yet what might be needed, but we know how to stay involved. My colleague and our former WBUUC intern, the Reverend Kelly Clement, wrote a strong and timely blog this week, listing many resources and organizations that need support. Looking ahead, there might also be a time where there's a need for teams of volunteers to help support individuals coming to our state in order to obtain a safe and legal abortion. If you're being called to be part of that team, please contact her. I hope you'll engage with me in this necessary work. But as we're focusing on our activism, let's not forget about beauty. We need beauty, and much of that beauty comes from slowing down and noticing. David White talks about beauty as the harvest of presence. Hermann Hesse says it a little differently. The high value put upon every minute of time, the idea of hurry, hurry, as the most important objective of living, is unquestionably the most dangerous enemy of joy. How are you going to slow down and find beauty this week? Come with me for a moment on a meditative journey. Find a comfortable seat. Feel free to close your eyes and imagine your favorite park. Listen first to the sounds all around you. The birds singing in that faraway tree. The frogs and toads croaking near that wetland over yonder. Maybe you're also hearing the occasional panting and jangling of the dog collars as your neighbor walks their dog past you. The smells of spring assault your nostrils with the fragrance of lilacs, roses, azaleas. The loamy aroma of the earth wafts up to your nose, and you smell the rain-soaked soil. The ground is damp and waiting, anticipating the falling of seeds and acorns. As you walk slowly, paying more attention than usual, you notice the flowers on the ground. And you also notice fresh buds on the trees. You notice the different species of birds flying above you and the waterfowl floating over on the pond. You notice the creepy crawlies worming around on your path and quite a few rabbits springing and hopping through the meadow. As you notice this beauty all around you, you also notice inside yourself the wilderness, alive and calling out for attention. The wilderness of your sadness and sorrow, but also the overgrown nature of the little manifestations of beauty. You notice the aloneness of your loneliness, but you notice that your wilderness is adjacent to the wilderness of others. In that space, there is connection, and in that place, there is beauty. Let's pause for just a moment of silence together as we explore this inner landscape, this interior sense of beauty and wilderness. As we go about our work, let's take time for joy and for beauty. We need bread, as do our neighbors, but we also need roses. And sometimes that beauty and that joy come from the intermingling of our sorrows. In the reading that Sarah shared with us earlier, Ross Gay paints that lovely picture of our ability to join our wildernesses. Everyone, regardless of everything, by which I mean everything, lives with some profound personal sorrow. Is this sorrow the great wilderness? Is sorrow the true wild? And if it is, and if we join them, your wild to mine, what's that? For joining two is a kind of annihilation. What if we joined our sorrows, I'm saying? I'm saying, what if that is joy? Maybe find moments this week of complex joy and simple beauty as we tune into the present and find stillness and presence. May we lean on each other today and this week and for the next few months. Rather than wallowing alone in our personal wildernesses, let's join them together and have a feast. May it be so, and make it so. Amen. Our final hymn is that reimagining of the 23rd Psalm by Bobby McFerrin, number 1038 in the softcover teal hymnal. Some of you might know it from when the choir sang it a few years back, and it might be new for others of you. It has a unique melody and timing structure, but Aaliyah will guide us. Please rise in body or spirit as we sing together.
Beside the still waters she will lead. She restores my soul. She rights my wrongs. She leads me in the path of good things. She fills my heart with songs. Even though I walk through a dark and dreary land, there is nothing that can shake me. She has said she won't forsake me. I'm in her hand. She sets a table before me in the presence of my foes. She anoints my head with oil, and my cup overflows. Surely, surely goodness and kindness will follow me all the days of my life, and I will live in her house forever, forever and ever. Glory be to our mother and daughter and to the Holy of Holies, as it was in the beginning, is now, and shall ever be, world without end. Amen.
May you go out this week in the knowledge of the beauty of presence. May you see in each other beauty. Go in peace.